Michael. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad we each got the note to wear blue shirts today. No.
It's the uniform. I only own blue shirts, it seems.
Well, hey, you're there with Delta, and it's a pleasure to be with you, Michael, and definitely preparing for this. I've been looking forward to that and really enjoy the energy that's already part of this summit, and definitely Stephanie's sharings and such. I think it'll be really good to build some momentum on. So, if you don't mind, I want to jump into it right now. You're almost at a decade with Delta, and that sounds actually kind of nice. Someone that after every 3 to 4 years, I'm looking for a new venture, and to see that you've been there for about a decade, yet you've grown tremendously quickly. And I'm sure you have a lot of stories. You mind sharing a little bit about your journey with Delta?
Yeah, sure. Happy to. I have been with Delta for now 9 years, which is crazy. I came down here, I moved from New York, and I think we might talk about it earlier. I had a career in consulting before this, but I've always been super interested in the airline and aviation business. I have my pilot's license, and I grew up wanting to fly planes or something like that, but took a business path in my career and joined Delta 9 years ago in the loyalty program. I've spent the majority of my time at Delta in loyalty in various aspects. And I think, what's been great about my time here is the ability to really see Delta build an even stronger brand. Joined here in 2013 when we had just come off a merger with Northwest Airlines. We were really a forefront in the industry and building a great brand. But over that time have done so much. And, obviously seen the good times, been through the past couple of years, which is, I think in the airline industry, that's how you earn your stripes, by living through a crisis. Many of us hadn't, because we were hired, since 2010 or so. And now we've been through that, and it's really exciting to see the traveling public come back and to have such a, huge loads on the airplane this summer. I remember walking through the airport during the pandemic, and it was like a ghost town, and it was really, really sad. Now you go through the airport in summer, and we're back and better than ever. And it's great to see people try and see our, use our products.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I missed traveling during the pandemic with very light planes and empty airports, it is nice to have life back, to see friends traveling, have friends travel to come see me, to go and visit people. And I bet it's a joy for you and Delta to see things are getting really busy now.
No, it's great. And, I would be remiss if I didn't thank all the people that work in the airport and on our airplanes and in our reservation centers, because this summer, like, travel is back, right? And after a couple of years of travel not being back, it takes a lot to just remember and have some kindness and work with full planes again and make sure that we're running a great operation. So it's a huge thank you to them, because we can do all that we want in the corporate office and all the marketing and all the branding and all the product development, but the people that actually deliver that service are the people in the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And being a client of yours, I'm grateful for it too. Totally enjoying the experience. Now, before Delta, you had another life, let's just say it like that, and another career. And would you mind sharing a quick highlight of your little highlight reel of your career, and then how your consulting experience has actually empowered you with what you're doing now?
Yeah, sure. So my career prior to joining Delta 9 years ago was all in consulting. I call it the undeclared major of the business world. So I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do when I grew up. And so I joined a consulting firm out of college and had the opportunity to work on a ton of strategy and operations projects for clients throughout the world. Then went back to business school and then did a few more years of consulting. But what I took away from that was really the ability to think strategically, solve problems, work with cultures throughout the world. Just prior to joining Delta, I spent 3 years for a small boutique consulting firm called Seabury Group that does airline and aerospace consulting. So the good news was it introduced me to the airline space, which I really enjoyed. But it also allowed me to work in Abu Dhabi, in Calgary, in Morocco. I was all over the place. And what that really taught me was how to build relationships, build partnerships, get things done cross-culturally, and see that, on the average, like, business is the same and the problems that people are solving are the same across the world, but the way you solve them and how you get to the solution might be a little bit different. And I've taken that all with me through my career and now into Delta to kind of go see the other side and actually own some of the things that I work on, deliver them for our customers, and make this place a better place for everybody.
Yeah, I know as we were connecting and preparing for this, it seemed as though your passion really is solving problems to see the world, and then you were able to translate that passion into a career. And dare I say, on a personal note, I could feel Stephanie's passion coming through just now, and then your passion definitely can sense it as looking at some of the challenges and problems that you're currently on. So I want to go back to your current role, and I'd like to ask about a phrase you said when we connected the other day, which is keep climbing. Would you mind sharing for all of us what that means?
Yeah, so keep climbing. I think that's a mantra here at Delta, which came out of that merger that I talked about. I think in our first marketing campaign during the merger and coming out of the merger, we had this tagline, "Keep climbing," and it's stuck for the next 12 years or so. And keep climbing to us is really about how do we continue to do better and better every day. And it's two words that I think get all of our employees really rallied around. So we're never going to be perfect, but we can be better than we were yesterday. And that's kind of the thing that we go back to say, like, just keep climbing, right? What's the next best thing? How do I solve a problem today? How do I make the experience better for our customers? How do we make that next best investment in the customer experience? Just keep climbing, because if we keep going up, that'll keep us focused on the right North Star. I think sometimes you can be distracted by the competitors or what's going on in the world. And there's a whole lot of things that can make you lose your focus. But if you kind of go back to that whole, let's just keep climbing, we'll do better. We'll do better every day. And that's going to get us to a better place. I also think through like the past 2 years and COVID and the pandemic we went through, we made a little bit of a twist to that keep climbing mantra. And we said, keep climbing together. So that was something that we used internally in the early days of the pandemic when life was really scary. We didn't know what was going on. Our planes weren't full. But by kind of going back to that mantra in our DNA and saying, keep climbing together, right? It made us feel like we're in this together. We're a family. We're going to get through this. We don't know when the other side's going to be, but we're going to get there. And that was something that we all really rallied around as a company, which led to some really great decisions that helped build our brand over the past couple of years and continue to propel us forward now.
Yeah, I love that when thinking about the theme of today, the future of travel, and having been a Delta traveler myself, as I shared with you, since I've been a kid, traveling from the US to Venezuela, where I grew up. It's been really neat to hear how you all discuss it internally and then how I feel it on the receiving end. And definitely, I've sensed it domestically as I travel, that Delta is continuing to climb, as I know that it's the choice of flight for many of not just my family members, but inner circle. About we like the screens on the back of the chairs. We like to be able to charge with the USB cable. I like to be able to have a credit card with a brand that, as I use it daily, I'm able to pay for trips, dare I say, for free, just with all the loyalty points. And so if you don't mind, I would like to ask you to highlight some of the neat experiences as you all are continuing to climb, maybe touching on the Porsche experience or some of the Delta Premium Select now that you're rolling out.
Well, yeah, happy to. I mean, one thing you mentioned was sort of like your living room, right? And when we think about the airplane and the experience we want to deliver, we want you to feel like you're in your living room or as close as you can. And we've made a lot of decisions, and we'll continue to make decisions that make that experience like your living room, right? So we've got, I'm pretty sure we have the most seat back screens in the industry. And that's because if you were in your living room, right, you're probably watching TV and playing with your phone at the same time. We all multitask, right? And your phone needs to charge, right? So there needs to be a place to plug it in. And you might be listening to music. So we've got partnerships with Spotify, right? So that's all making it more and more like your living room, so that you arrive ultimately, and I think Stephanie mentioned this earlier, we really want you to arrive better than you left, right? We want you to be well rested. We want you to feel like healthful, and we want you to be relaxed. We know the travel experience can be stressful. I think the airport, my personal opinion is the airport is one of the most anxious, stressful places you can be in the world. And anything we can do, and we've got a lot of innovation coming to make it even better, but anything we can do to reduce that anxiety and stress is going to make sure that you arrive on the other end of your trip well rested, ready to take on whatever is on the other side, whether that's a birthday party for your grandkid, or it's a business meeting, or it's a wedding. You're going to be in good shape when you get there. In terms of other sort of innovation, we continue to see, and we can talk more about it as we think through the demand environment, but one thing coming out of the past 2 years is there is an increased demand for premium products. And one thing that my team today focuses on a lot is defining what are the premium products that we can sell, right? And then we work with lots of groups internally to develop those products and make sure we can deliver them. And one thing that we rolled out in 2019, and we've continued to roll out this summer, is what we call Delta Premium Select. So that's a experience. It's a premium economy experience, and it's really nice. It's attainable by a lot of people, and it sits somewhere between Delta One, which is our international lie flat business class type of seat, and our main cabin and Comfort Plus products. And so we've seen a ton of demand for this Delta Premium Select experience. We're going to continue to invest in it. And I think one thing you would see is last week, we were really, we led the industry in launching this product to Hawaii. So on Friday, we announced that we're adding Delta Premium Select on 3 of our long haul Hawaii routes. And we're looking forward to seeing how that books up. But I knock on wood, I think demand is going to be through the roof for that product, because it's a really great way, as you're taking probably a vacation or maybe going on your honeymoon to Hawaii, to treat yourself to something a little bit better. And we're looking forward to see that roll out in more routes as we continue to update our fleet and roll it out to places that there's demand for that product. Similarly, I think you mentioned the Porsche. So we've got a partnership with Porsche. We've had that partnership for a number of years. And in our key stations, so our hubs, some of our coastal markets, we've got Porsche cars and what we call elite services. So that's members of our frontline staff that meet our highest value customers. It's also a paid service. So if you want extra special treatment, we'll either surprise and delight our highest value customers, or you can pay for it. And we'll meet you plane side. We'll put you in a Porsche. We'll drive you to the Sky Club. We'll drive you to baggage claim. We'll drive you your connecting flight. And it's something that is not only a great service that people really love, but if you follow Delta or some of our customers on like Instagram, it's an Instagram worthy experience that people really love to surprise and delight and post about it online.
Yeah, I mean, both of those experiences, I'm looking forward to hopefully one day enjoying. And secondarily, when we connected, it actually really impressed me when you and I were talking around, dare I say, my foolish question, asking, hey, will there ever be a day when Delta owns the airport and is fully vertically integrated? Yet then you provided some insight about who owns the airport, the air traffic control towers, and then as well, you're navigating within a myriad of government agencies and outside owned, and yet you speak about something relatively complex so easily. Would you mind? I just wanted to double click on some of the complexities in which you and your team
Sure.
have to navigate. It's not just a matter of now you have some seats with some extra room on a plane. There's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes to it. I mean, I'm not the expert to talk about vertical integration. I imagine we're probably not in an industry where we're going to own the airport and the air traffic control and the security and all those things. For a variety of reasons. But what again, like at the end of the day, the buck stops with us when it comes to the customer experience, and people, when they fly, they're trusting Delta to deliver an experience that meets and exceeds their expectations. And so we're constantly working with everyone, with the FAA, with airport authorities all throughout the country and the world, Customs and Border Patrol. We're working with all these groups. Sometimes it's even vendors in the airport to make sure there's food for you to eat if you're waiting for a flight. I know that was kind of a challenge over the past couple of years with staffing. And so we're working with all of those entities in each of the airports that we serve to make sure that we're giving our customers the best experience we can, right? And that's even sometimes funding the innovation that goes into the airport. So an example of that is some here in Atlanta, where I'm based in our hometown. We've made some innovations in the airport security experience, and some of that is funded by Delta by putting in new equipment that is more user friendly and speeds up the process. So we're constantly working with all those entities to make sure that we're delivering the right experience.
Yeah, wow, that's super impressive. And I would say something else that really is impressive is your understanding of the industry as a whole, of course, and your brand, and obviously your role. And so I wanted to start with the industry. Would you mind sharing what's happening with the mix of travel? That really blew me away because I'm actively involved with it, but I wasn't thinking about it the way that you broke it down.
Yeah, and I think this actually builds again on what Stephanie was saying. So travel is back, right? That's the great news. Like people want to travel. After a few years, there's pent up demand for travel. And this summer, everyone's back out on the road. And so we've seen travel nearly or above fully recovered to 2019 levels in a lot of our markets, which is great. And leisure travel is leading the way. So leisure travel is back. Domestic travel was leading the way, but as we've seen as countries open up, remove some of the restrictions on travel, like the minute those restrictions go away, people are very, very interested in taking out their passport and going somewhere. And so that's great. And we kind of continue to see that demand. On the business travel front, Stephanie also mentioned this, right? Like the future of work, a little bit TBD. I think we're kind of figuring that out as we go. And that has an impact on corporate travel demand and business travel demand, which we continue to see recover. We're about 80% recovered on domestic corporate demand in recent months, and we're going to continue to see that tick back up. So the good news is we know travel is here to stay. I think the question mark and what we're continuing to work through is what does that future look like, especially on the corporate side? Because with more flexibility and hybrid work and the ability for people perhaps to not live in the same place where their office is, that's going to lead to new things, right? That's going to lead to team outings to maybe exotic locations, once a quarter, or people actually flying from wherever their hometown is to the corporate office maybe once a month. So seeing how that settles is something that we're going to keep our eye on. And the good news is we've got a really nimble network and a nimble set of airplanes that we can redeploy based on where those travel demands take us over the next several years. And then I think the other piece is this concept of bleisure. So I mentioned I've been at Delta 9 years. We've been talking about bleisure, I think all 9 of those years, and done a lot of research on it, and it's come up in a lot of focus groups. And not that bleisure didn't exist before, but I think we are now in the era of bleisure travel, right? So this idea that you can take your family with you and maybe work from a remote location for a week and combine a vacation with work, or extend your work trip for an extra weekend and see a new city, or bring your family to spend time with you. I think that's the future. And the good news there is while travel patterns may change and the destinations that people want to go to may change a little bit, travel's still there. People want to connect with each other, and we're ready to serve them.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to make sure my CEO sees this recording and pay attention to the exotic trips section of this. No, all joking aside, I am grateful that at RAD, we actually have a distributed workforce. And what we've been doing is when we travel for client meetings or other get-togethers, always trying to include a team member or 2 additional to bring together. And that's been so special. Since we don't have that day-to-day interaction, yet we're very productive having those little moments. And so it is unique to see even myself as it really is transforming, and to know that Delta and others are really watching this to say, this is the new, and how can we make this even better than what they're able to do on their own? So I'm looking forward to it, man.
I'll put in a plug because we not only announced the Hawaii stuff, which I talked about last week, but we added a new dot to the route map, Tahiti. So if you're looking for an exotic team outing, Tahiti might be something to look at.
Yeah, say no more. I'll go to Moorea any day. And I mean, as well, when I think about the industry and just shifting travel plans, you have a lot of planes, and that whole fleet was built to service a demand that went away for a little bit, and now it's coming back, and it's a shifting landscape. So how are you all handling that?
The shifting landscape of destinations?
Just demand. Maybe before there was lots of flights out of LA and New York, but now if you have a third of people moving from New York to Miami, well, now they're flying out of Miami, and then they need more planes down there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we're really fortunate that we've got the ability to redeploy assets and add back our network in a way that mimics the recovery in the demand environment. And so what we've done there, and this is not going to be a surprise to anyone, but as you think about our recovery versus where we were in 2019 and how the network has come back, we brought back leisure destinations before business destinations, and we've added flights to Florida, and Latin America, which have been hotspots over the past couple of years. And we've probably been a little bit slower to add back some flights from maybe New York or Seattle, because those were just parts of the country that kind of came back online in a slower fashion. But the good news is we're pretty much back to where we were, and we'll continue to follow those trends. Same thing, I mentioned Tahiti. We added Tahiti. I don't work in network planning, but I imagine part of that is that's just a popular destination. That's where people want to go. And we're continuing to talk to our customers, look at market data, and we'll add the flights to the places that people want to go. And it's good to work in an industry that can be that nimble, right? Within 60 or 90 days, we can change how the route structure looks like to make sure that we're flying the places people want to go.
Yeah, fascinating. Now I want to drill in on the brand a little because, I mean, granted, I'm biased. I've made that pretty known. And when you mentioned kind of the trajectory is to become more premium and creating these more premium experiences, at first I thought about in my head Lewis Hamilton, F1 driver, and here he is, top of the game, and he still wants to keep winning more. And I'm thinking, all right, Delta to me is already really premium. How much more premium can they get? So, mind sharing some other really neat things that you're continuing to do to augment that premium experience?
Of course. So we are always trying to, like I said before, do better than we did the day before, right? So we're constantly looking at how do we make this travel experience better. On the premium side, I think it's certain things that we can do to increase the ability for you to travel in a way that reduces anxiety. And so I think two examples that come to mind from an innovation perspective that we've rolled out recently. One would be this parallel reality experience in Detroit. So if any of you fly through the Detroit airport, I highly suggest you find some time to check out this new big screen in the terminal, which is parallel reality. What it is one big screen, and based on biometrics and who you are, it's able to show 100 people at the same time personalized information that no one else can see but you, it's like mind blowing. It's amazing. It's something that I don't know, like it comes out of a science fiction movie. But if you think about our goal to move towards an experience where you don't need a paper ticket anymore, you don't really even need a boarding pass, everything's through biometrics and it's streamlined. This ability to give everyone personalized information in a mass way, where only you can see it, can really increase that experience at the airport. So when you get off the plane, and you're connecting, you no longer have to look at a screen and find your flight out of a list of 50 flights. You just look up and it says, go to the right, it's a 10-minute walk. Thank you, Mr. Elliott. Like you're at gate A27, just go. So really cool stuff. And there's a lot of scalable ways that this can be rolled out throughout the travel experience. So that's one. I think the other, which is really just cool, is the ability to check your bag without ever seeing an agent. So we talked before about a lot of government authorities and people that we work with. One of those is the TSA. And here in the US, before you check your bag, we need to check your ID and make sure you're the same person that's checking the bag. That's really important. And that involves needing a person. But we've partnered with the TSA to launch in a few airports, including Atlanta, a system that, using biometrics for our highest value frequent flyers, uses biometrics, matches your face with your ticket, and allows you to put a sticker on your bag, tag the bag, and send it on its way without ever seeing an agent. And as you can imagine, the test is going really well. As that scales up, that just makes the experience at the airport so much better. Fewer lines, and you can get on your way really quickly.
Incredible. I'm thinking about myself, and when I go to travel, how much I'm going to enjoy both of those. And I wonder if there's a way to track the decrease in anxiety and then the increase in productivity and enjoyment.
Yeah. We do a lot of surveys. So I think the answer to that is yes. We also do some research. One thing we've done in the past is you can actually like strap a heart rate monitor onto people and track them throughout the airport experience and the travel experience. And you know exactly where those pain points are from an anxiety perspective. And we'll continue to keep a pulse on that to see if this makes life better.
Yeah, incredible. And lastly, as we come up to time and before we open it up for Q&A, I wanted to go drill directly on your role, especially focusing on loyalty. I think there was a product that, in addition to the Detroit parallel reality, the 747 credit card. Mind touching on that in some details, because I'm stoked, and I'm sorry if I forgot to text you to say, hey, make sure you have yours. No.
That's all good. Yeah, I mean, prior to my current role, I spent a lot of time in loyalty, and as you might imagine, getting products to market takes years. And so something that we started a number of years ago and just launched recently was a credit card from our co-brand portfolio with American Express that's made out of a recycled 747. And something that's always struck me, like in the loyalty space, is our goal is to build an emotional connection with our customers, get you to think about Delta way more than just once or twice a year when you fly. And part of that is being really proud of the brand and carrying it with you and showing it to your friends. So one thing we did was we developed this card. Let's see if we can see it. We can see it here. Don't steal my number. But this card is actually made out of a retired 747. We retired our 747s in 2017. People who aren't like av geeks may not know, but it's a very iconic plane. It has that like double hump on the front of the plane. And our customers really love it. Our employees really love that plane. It was a really important aircraft in a certain point of time in aviation. That time maybe has passed. It's not super sustainable. It burns a lot of gas, but the plane is iconic. And so we thought to ourselves, how could we take this plane that's been retired and sitting in the desert and work with American Express and roll something out that really allows people to showcase their brand love for Delta, that aircraft. And we've launched that card a couple of months ago. It's doing really well. Maybe we don't have a great forecasting ability, or we don't have a crystal ball, but it's blowing out all the expectations in terms of how many cards we thought we would print. And we might, I don't know, we might need to get another plane to chop up because we've got a lot of demand for the product.
Yeah, I mean, I need one. So definitely, I'm sure other folks listening are looking forward to theirs. And look, we actually received a question that is similar to what I was going to end with before we open up to Q&A. So I'm just going to jump into it and share with you the question that came to us from the crowd, which is, what other unique brand partnerships are you enabling, and how do you deepen the connection both between the customer and the brand partner, and between Delta and the brand partner?
Yeah, so we're always looking for new partners, and we've launched a number of them over the past few years. So thinking about Instacart, Lyft, Peloton, Spotify, I think the common denominator goes back to something I said before. We want you to travel well. We want you to arrive better than you left. We want to make sure that the whole travel experience is as seamless and smooth and high in terms of customer satisfaction as possible. And so that's the theme I think you see through these partnerships, right? Lyft is a great way to get you to and from the airport. Instacart, like if you're coming back from a long vacation or a business trip and you don't have any food in your refrigerator, how great is it that you can use your benefits and the partnership to make sure that you're going to land, get home, and maybe an hour later, someone delivers groceries to your house. And Peloton and Spotify, that's all about that living room experience, right? So how can we use the IFE, the in-flight entertainment on the plane, to give you some good music, give you music that's going to help you rest, or give you a meditation through Peloton. These are all really great partnerships, and we'll continue to focus on finding more that improve the travel experience and work really well for both brands.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for all the insights. And Carrie, I would say we would love to open it up for if there's another question or two.
Yeah, I don't see any in the queue, but let them rip. If you have a question, send them out. While we're waiting on that, Michael, I just have to say, because if I don't say it, he's gonna not forgive me. But speaking of loyalty, a friend of mine who's basically his Twitter identity is I fly Delta. So like I totally get the brand loyalty, the way that people are treated. But yeah, it's literally in the blood, and I think he does have that card.
Yeah, no, I bet he does, and if not, let him know. He should get one. But I think that's what's been so eye-opening in my time here is people are so passionate about travel, and we've done so much to invest in our brand and really building that brand beyond just a way to get from point A to point B to more of a lifestyle brand. And we've got so many great supporters that really look to Delta every time they fly.
Amazing. Hey, we have one more question, and then I have a fun bonus question for you, Mike. What is your favorite part of your job?
Oh, so the favorite part of my job, I mean, there are so many, but I think my favorite part of my job is meeting with our customers and our frontline staff, right? So anytime I can get to the airport or do a focus group or meet with customers and hear what they like and sometimes what they don't, that is the highlight of my job. And I'm kind of glad that we're getting back to more of those in-person occasions these days, because that was missing over the past couple of years.
Excellent. Well, cool. Well, I'll end with my fun bonus question, which is, what is your next trip that you're looking forward to and that you're excited about?
All right, so this is I'm going to share a little bit more about myself than I should. I am going to London in 2 weekends, linking to what I said before about Peloton. I discovered Peloton during the pandemic, and so I am really excited to attend a live Peloton class in London in 2 Fridays. So that's the next trip.
Oh, amazing. Looking forward to that then, man.
It'll be fun.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Mike. Thank you for your time, your energy, and really the amazing work that you do that inspires now not just me, but I hope all the folks listening.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephen. It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Carrie and Brand Innovators. This has been wonderful.
Thank you both so much. It's been great.